Hello everyone, and for people that normally watch my videos, you know that I'm a manly kind of guy, man. You know, traditional, strong, masculine, so you might not expect to hear this from me, but a lot of these alpha male, whatever you want to call them, influencers and videos, I actually don't like them. Why? Because I think that it's not so much that they take it too far, but that they're stupid. That, or they're just trying to get a lot of clickbait and make a lot of money. Why I say that is, I've mentioned in other videos, they kind of have this mentality. Now let's apply it to, say, bodybuilding, just to give a concrete example of like, hey bro, just push harder, just push harder. It's like, that's what I did when I was a teenager. I thought I was really tough, and like I was really tough. Uh, but guess what? It's not smart. It doesn't work long term. Yeah, it works short term. Yeah, it works really well short term. But life is longer than just the short little term. So that stuff is called stupid. I evolved past that into having a more broad knowledge and view and everything of everything. And realizing that, just pushing harder and trying to be the alpha male, superman, whatever you want to call it, is stupid. Now, let's try to think of other examples. Like, some of these alpha male influencers try to do all this stuff about, like, how horrible women are. And, yeah, women have caused a lot of problems in the world. Men have too. I'm not um, ignoring what women have done. I'm not ignoring what men have done. I certainly think that men should be in charge of things because men have more evolved brains. You might not like hearing that, but that does seem to be reality. I don't like to state a lot of things as fact. I think it's ignorant to state things as facts. It's not that I'm unsure about myself, it's just that when you're a scientist like I am, you realize that we're always learning new things. So to state something as concrete fact, if you're a scientist, it bothers you, so that's why I don't state it as concrete fact. But it really does seem to be the case, just like gravity really seems to be the case. But it's still called the theory of gravity, not the fact of gravity. It's a theory. But as you know, and I don't want to make loud noise for my people below me, gravity really seems to exist. So, yeah, these alpha male guys, instead of just being like, men are this way and really should be in charge of things, and women are great, but they should not be in charge of things. It just doesn't work. It seems like. Now, I'm not saying women can never be in charge of anything. That's certainly not the case. Um, but yeah, to say that women are evil and just incredibly stupid, it's like, on average, they have lower IQ than men. But does that mean that a woman cannot be smarter than a man? No, it does not. Some women are smarter than some men. But on average, men have more developed minds. Now, men are more impulsive, of course, in certain ways, but women are more impulsive in other ways, actually. Like, we're very different. That's the bottom line. We're very different. It's not that men are superior to women or women are superior to men. We're different. We have completely different biological roles. And it's idiotic to think that you are going to bypass millions of years of evolution. You've got women out there that want to act like men. They're like, yeah, I can do it too. Women can be strong. Women can be leaders, blah, blah, blah. It's like, we've got millions of years of practice at it. You've got what? 5 years? 10 years? Maybe you're an old woman who's doing that and you got like 30, 40, 50 years of practice. Guess what? My 10 million years just beats it out by a little bit. for people to go, oh, but what your ancestors did before you, that's not you. You didn't do that. So DNA doesn't exist. My ancestors that were good at breathing oxygen from the air, which led to my biology taking oxygen from the air. They didn't exist. That's like I just had to learn how to breathe oxygen myself. Apparently, no. My ancestors that developed this kind of human body, what they didn't have to exist and create. I just created this myself in my lifetime. That's not how it is. Like, we do not necessarily have conscious memories of everything all of our ancestors have done, but it doesn't mean they don't exist. And of course, it kind of blows away the idea of equality that, oh, we're all born from a clean slate and we're all equal. Everybody's got equal ability, equal this, equal that. And a woman can do the same thing as a man. It's like, if that were true, how come I can't have a baby just because I decide I'm going to practice it? Just practice going like that enough and I'm going to change my organs? Guess what? It doesn't work. I've got different DNA that's evolved for millions of years. I cannot have a baby. Some women have wider hips than others, and babies can come out easier. Some women have narrow hips, and they can die when they try having a baby. Guess what? They die more often, so we get more of the ones with wider hips. That's why women have wide hips today, because the ones with the narrow hips die. Like men, they mostly died off, but you still see some women like that. But yeah, they haven't done so good. So the woman with the wider hips, although you may say, there's nothing she did to deserve that. Well, guess what? Actually, she, as in her DNA, which is her, has been working at that for millions of years. So yeah, she actually did earn it. Like, it can bother you in a way. It bothers me in a little way. But like, some people tend to hate people that inherited money. And sometimes there are shitty people that inherit money. Sometimes there are people that are really not deserving of it, it seems like. But the matter of fact is that their ancestors worked for it. It didn't just magically happen. If I work really hard and amass a lot in my life and my kids start off with more, it's not because my kids just, they're completely, they're just this other entity that was born and just magically, unworthily got all this stuff. No, my kids are actually me. People don't tend to think about this so much nowadays, but I can shoot something out of my penis and grow another human being. That's the fact. When you think of it like that, maybe it makes a little more sense. Like, it's literally you. It's a part of you. It comes, like, if you're a man, it comes out of your body. It goes into a girl's body, combines with part of her, and you grow a new organism. It's not just from a blank slate. It's a part of you combined with a part of her. So yeah, DNA exists, and people are all different, and certainly different genders or sexes, whatever you want to call it. They're very different. They've been very different for a long time. Women have evolved for having children, raising children. Men have evolved for securing resources, which involves being strong and having stamina, a lot of things. Being more resilient to external things that get thrown at you. Like, for example, it seems like men tend... I'm not going to make examples. I don't want people to argue with men. I don't know if they're the best examples. But there are a lot of differences between men and women. I got really off topic from that alpha male stuff. But the point is that it's not a we're better than them. Women are stupid. It's like, no, we're different. We are much better at a lot of things. They're better at giving birth to babies. They're better at breastfeeding babies. They're better at staying at home and doing the stuff they do. We're better at going out and hunting down animals, at other stuff to get food. We're better at building shelter. We're better at fighting off threats. And perhaps because we have done those things for millions and millions of years, our brain had to evolve more logic and prediction abilities. Whereas a woman's brain, it still had to make those kind of things, but it had a much more narrow sphere that it had to be focused on. It was more focused on, that guy looks like a good one, and I'm going to hold my baby against my breast, and I'm going to also push really hard when I'm trying to give birth. Whereas a man has to predict the world around him and how he's going to interact with it to get food for him and his family and to protect him and his family from that world. So yeah, what a lot of those alpha male guys say is true in a sense, but I personally think that they really give the wrong mentality. They give a stupid mentality. And when they also impose this idea that you need to be externally showing your toughness all the time, there's some people, I have a friend that's like this. He believes it, but he also, we talked about it, he gets that, you can be super masculine and secure in yourself and be the opposite way. He tries to always show his masculinity. If there's a group of people, he tries to walk in the front. The funny thing is, I always end up walking in the front because I just like walking really fast, not because I'm trying to be in the front. But he does all these, I know a few people that do these things. They have all these little things they think you gotta do to be real masculine. And these alpha male guys oftentimes impose, you gotta be like this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this. And if you don't do this, they're not gonna respect you, and they'll choose these words over those words. And all this garbage. To be a true alpha male, or whatever you want to call it, you need to just hone your ability to survive and to thrive. It doesn't matter if you don't like martial arts, you have to learn martial arts. It doesn't matter if you don't like guns, you have to learn how to use guns and get good at them, and get good at martial arts. It doesn't matter if you don't like making money, guess what? You have to make money because money's important. You have to do what you have to do. And doing those things is what makes you an actual alpha male, or whatever you want to call it. It's not walking in the front of your group, or, I don't know, making sure that you have your collar up. I don't know the kind of garbage they say because I don't watch them. I've watched some a long time ago, and it's like, what the? This is garbage. Yeah, and I would certainly never take relationship advice from them. Oh yeah, if your girl's, you always gotta show that you're dominant and that she's. It's like, my wife knows that. I don't have to show that to her. I don't need to do these weird things. And every relationship also is completely different than every other relationship. There's no one size fits all. Everybody, like I was explaining, is very different. Now you combine two very different people together, and remember every combination is very different, you can't follow a set of guidelines. You can take certain ideas and try to use that knowledge to improvise for your own relationship, but it's certainly a horrible idea to follow a set of guidelines. And it's a horrible idea to think that just because you're the man and you make the decisions and you are in charge of your family unit, that you shouldn't listen to your wife. I make our decisions. I am in charge of our family unit, which for now is only 2. It's going to be a lot more in the future. But that doesn't mean I don't listen to my wife. I probably couldn't have a wife who I don't want to listen to, because I should get rid of her and get a different one that's a little more intelligent. But maybe if she was like the most loving, caring wife and really good with kids, maybe it'd be fine. But I like that I actually have an intelligent wife who I like to listen to what she thinks. And sometimes like, oh yeah, actually I spoke too soon. You're right. Now, I take that in my mind and I alter what my decision for us is. But if she says something and I decide, no, it's not right, you just don't get it, my decisions stay how they were, they don't get altered. And she follows along with them. As I say to people, at the end of the day, there's two people, and you have to make one decision. It means you can't both decide. One person has to decide. Now you could say, well, you can both decide. Guess what? You're not always going to both agree. So at the end of the day, you have to make the decisions. You should take what she says and actually really think about it. Because it sure would be a shame if you didn't and you make a bad decision and you could have avoided that. It's called being stupid. But you make the decisions and she follows along because she realizes that it's what you need to do. I'm also against the idea that to be an alpha male, you gotta be a pickup artist. I think that's just called being a scumbag. Now, of course, biologically, we are programmed to impregnate, but it doesn't mean you gotta go around fooling girls into thinking that you love them and that you want to be with them just so you can be with them in bed and then throw them away and now you ruined a girl. Now I know they're not necessarily ruined, but they're no longer a virgin and they've got some mental scarring from thinking that you loved them and now you just left them, and that's a little bit traumatizing. Unless she's already traumatized enough that it doesn't matter, because it's already happened a lot. But the idea is it should never happen in the first place. A girl should meet a guy and they should get together. And when they are actually meant to be together, have sex and stay together forever and raise kids. Not have guys pretending to love her just to have sex with her and then throwing her away. And guess what? As a guy, it doesn't help other guys when you do that. If you want to be a team player, you're not going around and fucking up all the girls. Because every girl that you just pump and dump is no longer suitable for another guy. Generally speaking. I really don't mean like it's 100%. I know that there are plenty of non-virgins out there that are great. And of course it's very different if they were in like a very long-term relationship and then things didn't work out or he died or something. And of course that's traumatizing too. Your husband dies. That really sucks. But the point is, the best case scenario is a virgin. And if you are a piece of shit who's going to go around ruining the virgins, you're not alpha, you're a piece of shit. I will leave it at that. Hope you like this video. Check out my other videos. Make sure you scroll through them a lot because I got a lot of videos. And sometimes I get on tangent topics. So you should scroll through them to see like my variety of topics.